Today, we continue our bugging out triple feature with Guillermo del Toro's 1997 infestation of insects, illness, and indomitable fucking bug monsters. The scent gland aromas are wafting, the mutated bugs are cosplaying, and the New York City cockroach has never been more resilient as we get lost inside an abandoned Lower East Side subway tunnel to meet giant genetically engineered cockroaches in Mimic.
You're listening to How I Met Your Monster, a podcast that explores the introductions to your favorite movie monsters. My name's Zach.
I'm Danny.
And I'm Casey.
And together we dive into the world of horror to find out how filmmakers have introduced us to our favorite monsters time and time again. This is How I Met Your Monster.
Boss, you opened it. We came.
I met him 15 years ago. I was told there was nothing left.
Explorers in further regions of experience. Demons to some, angels to others.
Call you Meatloaf! Surprise, Sydney.
Welcome to How I Met Your Monster, the show where we discuss the introductions to your favorite movie monsters. Today we are continuing our Bugging Out triple feature after our little break for Shark Week with Deep Blue Sea. If you haven't listened to that episode, it is available now on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and anywhere you get your podcasts. But today we're going back to our Bugging Out triple feature for 1997's Mimic about giant man
Cocks.
cosplaying cocks, giant cocks in overcoats.
Yeah. We finally got what we really wanted on this podcast. A whole episode dedicated to giant cosplaying cocks.
That's right. So, question. I know we'll get into this in the movie, but like, does the giant cockroach man wear a trench coat, or is that like his wings and it just looks like
That's
a coat?
his wings.
Okay. I was like, how does he get the coat on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where did he get the coat? He went shopping at the
Where did he
Salvation
get
Army.
the coat? Yeah.
But wait, now that's a good question because later we see him take the shoes, or did he mimic the shoes? Did he like?
Doesn't he wear a hat?
Do that rapid
He doesn't wear a
evolving
hat.
and make
Doesn't
his
he wear a
feet look
fedora?
like the shoes? I don't think so. I think that's an example of what is the Mandela effect, where we thought the cockroach wore a fedora, but he does not, in fact, wear
Isn't
one.
he like an old-timey detective?
He like tips his hat. Oh my God. Yeah, we're talking about Guillermo del Toro's Mimic
I think
from 1997.
I'm just going to say it right now. I think this is a vastly underrated Guillermo del Toro gem.
Yeah, it's pretty fantastic.
I love this movie.
Agreed.
You guys, you're going to hate me.
Zach doesn't. Okay. Okay.
There is something about this movie that I cannot connect to.
Oh, I love it.
This is my third time watching it. The performances are really good.
Mm-hmm.
The story is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
The setting, everything is cool. But I don't know what it is. There's like some element about it where I just can't connect to it. I legitimately don't know why. But like every time I watch it, I kind of like tune out and I'm like, okay, like this movie's still going. Okay. I don't know.
How do you feel about
I can't pinpoint
Guillermo del Toro's other movies? Do you connect with those, or is he not just not to be on the spot, but like is it
kind of tuned out a little bit on Crimson Peak?
Okay.
Not fully, but just like a little bit of just like I'm still watching this movie. I'm still paying attention, but like I'm not
Mind wanders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Pan's
Honestly,
Labyrinth was good. I did like Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah. I can't watch The Devil's Backbone.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah. I've tried like 3 times and every time that's what happens to me. I'm like,
I think that one gets
about other things.
I remember the first time I've heard of that. I mean, I love The Devil's Backbone, but when I had first heard of it, I think it was on that Bravo, like 101 Scariest Movie Monsters or whatever it's called, or Scariest Scenes.
Movie moments.
Thank you. So my introduction to that movie was, this is one of the scariest movies you're ever going to see. And I was like, oh my God, I have to see this movie.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It really isn't that. It's like it is kind of like in the same vein of Pan's Labyrinth. It's this historical drama that happens to be kind of like, I don't know, there's like horror threaded through it.
There's horrific elements.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But so I don't know.
That's interesting to know, because I always thought, just from hearing things, that Devil's Backbone was like a scary, scary movie.
Yeah, I wouldn't go into it. Not that it isn't scary or good or effective or creepy, but I wouldn't. I would recommend going into it, viewing it as what we were just saying. Kind of.
Right.
Is that what wasn't like your thing, Casey? Did you want more like?
Yeah, I mean, of course, that's
like horror.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, Mimic definitely has the horror. It's gross. Yeah. It's got some nasty fucking kills. Like I'm saying, like it's a good, like I recognize it as a really good movie. It's, but there's like an element that it like doesn't connect with me for some reason.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It is funny because I think that Mira Sorvino is really great in this. What? You don't think so?
No, she's good. Every time I see Mira Sorvino, I want her to say, like, I think she's going to say, like, the first words out of her mouth, I think are going to be, do you have some kind of businesswoman special?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is like, she's great in this movie. Her performance is great, but I still always think of Romy and Michelle.
Oh, yeah. I love it. And I just watched Romy and Michelle recently, maybe like a week or two ago. So it was fresh in my mind. So she hits these like, I don't know, like notes, like the way she says something. It just, she does this thing with like her R's where she leans into her R's when she talks. So it's like this like hard R.
Yeah.
So when she does it, she kind of goes there. I think it's just her voice.
Yeah.
And I think she just obviously exaggerates it in Romy and Michelle. But when she does it even a little bit in this movie, like it's so hard to not like think of that. Because I think this was the same year, right? Mimic? Or maybe Romy and Michelle.
Yeah, it was 97.
That's hilarious. And she had just won the Oscar, too, for Mighty Aphrodite.
Oh, right.
So she was like...
Right.
This was the mid-90s for Mira Sorvino was like something else. Where is she? I want her in more movies. I love her. She's so good.
I wonder what happened. I wonder where what she's doing now. If she's still acting or if she took a...
She was in The Sound of Freedom.
Ew. Oh, do we want Mira Sorvino back?
Oh, no.
Well, guess we'll talk about a different movie now.
Hey, sometimes a paycheck's a paycheck. Maybe
I was
going to
say that. She needs the money. It's fine.
Oh, I didn't mean she like needs the money. I just meant like a job is a job. Case is like, yeah, sometimes you just get desperate.
Oh. And she's the daughter of Paul Sorvino, who was in The Stuff.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he's in a lot of stuff, but...
Yeah, but we covered the stuff.
Every time I discover that fact, it feels new.
Mm-hmm.
That's so funny to me. I don't know why. I can't like imagine them being in the same room. I don't know why.
They probably haven't been.
Ever.
Paul Sorvino's a deadbeat dad. He's never met his daughter, but she like became this famous actress just by chance.
Well, Paul is an anagram of Mira, so maybe they are. Maybe it's the same person. Yeah, if you move the L and the R and the M and the A.
There's a picture of them together.
Oh, damn it. They have been in the same room.
Guys, why was I Googling this to confirm that Mimic was his first like Hollywood movie, his first studio effort? I had a point and I don't remember.
I know we were talking about Devil's Backbone. We were talking about just his filmmaking in general.
Okay, never mind.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know this movie had a lot of studio meddling. I knew it was kind of famous for that.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Because this was like before Guillermo del Toro was Guillermo del Toro, like this name that we all associate with the genre.
And he could do whatever he wanted.
Yeah. So it's a fun movie though, because I had actually not seen it in its entirety until maybe a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
Same.
After seeing, at the time, I remember when Mimic came out, it felt like just another like typical like horror thriller in the 90s.
Yeah.
It felt a little throwaway.
Yeah.
But going back, it's like, oh shit, this is a Guillermo del Toro movie. Like Bugs, like even the Manny and Chewie kind of remind me of, have you guys seen Kronos? It literally reminds me of like that story.
I've seen part of Kronos, but yeah, like the old guy and the kid.
Yeah. So you see all the Del Toro flavors kind of sprinkled in, and which is really exciting, I think, to watch when after the fact.
In retrospect,
yeah.
Yeah, when this one did come out, I think it came out around the same time as Relic.
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
And I would always get them mixed up. Yeah. I would get this.
And Relic was the one that I would watch quite often.
I've never seen Relic.
I remember that one being pretty good. It's like in the Natural History Museum, and like a thing is like morphing. It's like morphing into like different elements of different. It's like part tiger, part bug, part something. I don't know. It has a good performance by Tom Sizemore in that movie.
It does. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. So similar. Even like the names, Relic, Mimic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Creatures, the evolution of it.
So yeah, Relic is a cool movie. This movie, Mimic, was based on a short story by Donald Wollheim, and it was published in 1942. But I guess they don't really there's not a whole lot of similarities. I guess his short story Mimic was more about how like bugs have like evolved to just like live in our current world. Just alongside mankind, but it's not really like a science from the research that I did see. It's not like a science fiction horror story. It's just like,
Guillermo took the idea and made it his own.
Exactly. Yeah. Which is really cool. Mm-hmm. And this was also, so it was written by Guillermo del Toro and Matthew Robbins. Matthew Robbins wrote The Sugarland Express, which was one of Steven Spielberg's first movies.
Yeah. Duel came out in 1971. Sugarland Express was 1974.
Okay. So it was Duel, Sugarland Express, and then he did Jaws in 75?
Yeah, right after, yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm like looking at it as sometimes I forget. Sugarland Express, Jaws, Close Encounters, 1941, Raiders of the Lost Ark, E.T., Twilight Zone the movie, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Insane.
Steven,
you need to slow down. Steven.
Stop.
Okay, so Matthew Robbins wrote Sugarland Express, and then he also wrote additional story elements to Close Encounters of the Third Kind. That says sense. He was uncredited, but he added something to that. And then he also wrote Crimson Peak.
Oh.
So maybe there is a reason I tune out. Maybe Matthew Robbins is the reason I tune out of these movies.
He's the key.
Are you not a fan of Close Encounters either? You would have been if he hadn't inserted his little uncredited bits.
Anything that he did.
Which I have to mention, I don't know a date on this, but it's got to be soon, or maybe it's past by the time this episode comes out. But Close Encounters is coming back to theaters for a limited, like a Fathom Events kind of thing.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So either you're looking forward to it, or Zach just saw it and it was really good.
Yeah. And if you're listening to this episode in the future, you're shit out of luck. Sorry.
Yeah. You definitely saw it.
Okay, so are you guys ready to head to the Lower East Side subway stations?
Yeah.
I'm ready for that. I'm not ready for what's inside of it.
Yeah.
Bunch of cocks.
Bunch of cocks.
Bunch of giant cocks.
When you put it that way,
let's
go.
I know.
It's like she brings the little Judas Breed thing in at the beginning, and like it like does its thing, and then there's that scene where like there's the shot where they like sweep through the tunnel again, like all the cockroaches are dead. It's like she does her thing, and then when they sweep through, it's just a bunch of dildos. that was
her plan. She's like,
that was so stupid.
What if we coat them in like a silicone? Like, well, we only have one. What do you call it? God damn it! I'm ruining my stupid bit. What do you call like when you shape something and you need like a thing to close it and you
mold?
It creates the mold. Thank you.
Mold. Yes.
She's like I only have one mold. Cut to all these dildos with cockroaches in it. So.
This is the dumbest thing we've ever done.
I don't think it's the dumbest thing we've ever done.
Just wait till you hear my conspiracy theory for this week.
Oh, no.
I love conspiracy theories. They're my favorite parts of the episode.
God, we had a guest on our last episode and we like had to rein it in. But now it's like, we're just like regurgitating. Like,
I'm so sad I missed it.
Yeah,
that's right. Oh my gosh.
I am sad I missed it.
I'm
all right, let's go meet this cock. Roach.
Story of my life.
All right, Casey, since this was your pick, since actually this whole triple feature was your idea, Bugging Out, and this movie, Mimic, was your pick for our Bugging Out triple feature, could you please be so kind as to read the synopsis of Mimic via IMDb?
3 years ago, entomologist Dr. Susan Tyler genetically created an insect to kill cockroaches carrying a virulent disease. Now, the insects are out to destroy their only predator, mankind.
That's pretty cool.
I would like to start by asking why you think they named them the Judas breed.
Because Judas was a traitor.
Right, but...
And this is a fucking bug going to kill its own kind.
Oh, I guess that makes sense.
Oh,
okay. I was thinking more about it turning on them. But
I just came up with that right now in this very moment.
Genius.
Good job.
I was just associating it bug versus human, not bug versus its own species.
Right, but that is why they made it, so that would make sense.
Yeah. Damn.
I love how even making it, she's like, you're a little traitor, you little bitch. Now go kill them all.
I do love the element of this movie where they're like, is this a good idea? Is this not a good idea?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you saved a bunch of people, but you fucked up. You're kind of messing with stuff that you shouldn't be messing with.
It's very real.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's a real thing that happens. We still don't know the long-term side effects of birth control.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Oh, shit. Yeah.
It hasn't been around long enough for people to know what's going to happen.
That's interesting.
When did that like start becoming like a thing?
I don't know.
Birth control pills and stuff like that. Like I have no frame of reference. Like I have no idea. It's like the 70s, 80s.
One of those decades.
They were approved. The first was in 1960.
Okay.
Wow.
But I don't think that it was like big until obviously years after that. But
sure.
Yeah, I didn't know that about birth control. That's
no, it's like that with a lot of stuff.
I don't know a lot about most things in the world of science.
But think about modern medicine in general.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what long-term side effects of a lot of things are going to be.
Yeah.
Things that have been created in the last 30, 40 years. We're only now starting to see what will happen to people after a long time.
Yikes. I absolutely love that scene with F. Murray Abraham where she like goes to see him in the school or whatever. And he's like talking about how like she fucked up. And he's like, but I do have grandkids that are alive today because of you. So like, whatever. But
I think that's what's so interesting about this movie is like that moral dilemma of, and it's literally in it's Jurassic Park has that great scene where he's like, just because, you know, we could doesn't mean we should have. Obviously he says it differently. I'm pulling this out of my butt, but
no, leave it in.
Well, I'm gonna pull it out for a little bit. I'll put it back. This is based off of nothing but speculation. But you know, this movie is kind of famous for the studio meddling. Like we watched the director's cut for this podcast, but I'm sure even that was just, you know, you could only do so much with what was shot, which I'm sure was already being kind of overseen and controlled by the studio. But I feel like if Guillermo del Toro made this movie now in this current state of his career, where he kind of has a little bit more control over what he can do, I could see him leaning more into that element of like that, the moral dilemma, the complexities of like playing God and, you know, man's power over every other creature on this planet and like the God complex, you know, for better or worse, like whether or not the intentions are good.
Yeah. His movies have they have depth to them most of the time.
Totally.
And this does too, but you could see that like, it's like hitting a wall a little bit at the expense, you know, like, is it just wants to like, let's push the horror. Let's like make sure this thing the train never stops moving.
even if that wasn't his. I mean, he may not have had things fully fleshed out either because it was so early on in his.
That's
career.
a really good point. Like he hadn't, like he hadn't really gotten to that point where he even knew how to explore it. That's interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so by my count, Mimic has 11 reveals, 11 monster reveals, and a couple honorable mentions that we'll talk about. But we're getting reveals all the way through almost to the end.
Yeah.
So this movie, like Danny, you said, like it never slows down. It just keeps going. And right off the bat, this movie, 1997, the opening credits, huge Seven vibes.
Yeah, for sure.
Totally.
It was very much like Seven. And I was like, damn, okay. Yeah. To the point where I was like focusing on like all like the quick cuts in this. And I didn't even realize that they were like, the credits were like in those.
Oh, yeah.
I was like watching everything else and I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. They're talking about who made this movie.
Yeah. They're showing us who
Guillermo del Toro's in an interview and he's like, yeah, like we weren't copying it. It was a creative choice to mimic other movies.
Yes, who are mimicking.
It was good either way.
It was good.
Yeah. So we've got 11 reveals for this movie and we are meeting Mr. Funny Shoes, a.k.a. Cock of the Walk, a.k.a. Overcoat Johnny, a.k.a. No, they do call him
Detective Cockroach.
They do.
They're like, we got to call Detective C. Roach. What's the C for? Cock. Oh, shit.
Detective Richard Roach.
Well, they would call detectives dicks.
Oh.
So he's just Detective Roach. Okay. Dick Roach. Cockroach.
Amazing. Sorry.
No, but in this movie, they do Leonard, played by Charles Dutton. He says that there's like stories going on about like what happened to these people who used to live in the subway tunnels. And he's like, you'd hear stories of Overcoat Slim or Long John. And so like those were stories about this bug. And so our monster has many names: Mr. Funny Shoes, Long John, Overcoat Slim, Detective Roach,
Dick Roach, who in an alternate universe was the creator of Law and Order.
Dick Wolf.
Speaking of the creator, the creature design was, Casey?
I didn't even look.
Rob Bottin.
Oh, really? We like him.
We do.
Do you know why, Danny?
He's done quite a few movies in the past.
The Thing.
Yeah.
The Thing.
The
That's
Thing
the one.
Was his
That's
big.
The Thing.
He's done a ton of movies, but The Thing is like
first big one.
And that was Casey's first episode on this here show.
Yeah.
So Rob Bottin, pull up some poutine and enjoy yourself because we are celebrating your artistic craft.
Routine. Oh.
That's right.
In your routine. Oh, damn it.
Okay, so this movie starts out with Strickler's disease.
Yeah. I just remember that when I saw that hospital scene for the first time, the very first like scene in the movie, I remember thinking like, I'm gonna like this.
Well, and that's the thing too. Like, I love that shot, like that whole aesthetic of that hospital.
But nothing else is like that in all the movie.
Right. It's just like, it's like this weird hospital, kind of like sort of futuristic, sort of not, but then it's just like, oh, we're just in Manhattan. Like, here we go. The rest of it's just the same.
Fucking yuppies.
I also love, maybe this is like kind of a basic comment, but I love how this movie isn't about like this epidemic. It's about the consequences of that come after the epidemic, which is just like a really fun way to tell a story. It just adds more weight to like, I don't know, like the responsibilities we have, like to kind of tie into like the whole like moral theme of this movie. I don't know. It just really works. I really like it. I wish I had more to say about that, but.
Yeah. Well, no, you think like that's where the story is in like what happened during the epidemic and how they're going to stop it. But really it's like, that happens like in 5 minutes.
They were successful.
They're like,
but at what cost?
We're going to make this new bug to wipe out the old bugs that have the disease that's killing the kids. So we're going to save the kids, but then,
monster movie.
monster movie, but then monster movie. So our first honorable mention is actually right in the beginning of the movie. It's Susan, played by Mira Sorvino, unleashing this new bug that they call Judas breed into the sewers of Manhattan to get rid of these cockroaches that are carrying this disease so that it doesn't spread outside the island. So that's our first honorable mention. And then that kind of bleeds into like the press conference where she's like talking about what she did, which really she doesn't like, she just kind of does it. And then she tells the people, oh yeah, by the way, this is what we did to stop the disease. Like, it wasn't like, they weren't like keeping them informed along the way.
Yeah.
It was just like, we did it. We took a risk. It worked. And
if you have an opinion, it's irrelevant. What's done is done.
So what's done is done. But then our first actual official reveal happens right after that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right after the
it says 3 years later.
Mm-hmm.
Can I interject very quickly before we dive into that?
They have their little conversation in the bathtub.
Oh yeah, the fun, fully clothed bathtub.
Oh, that's coming back.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm actually glad we're talking about that because I was going to say our last episode, we took our little detour from our bugging out triple feature to do Deep Blue Sea. And we talked a lot about, I know Casey, you weren't there, but I think you'll be on the same page with us, where we kind of had a little trouble connecting with the lead, who's also named Susan in that movie.
Oh yeah.
Despite her positive intentions, we talked a lot about like the weight of hubris and, playing God and like the consequences that follow. And I think what works so well with Mira Sorvino's character in this movie is right out of the gate, she like actively confronts that moral dilemma.
Yeah.
She even questions herself, like, what did we do? Like, this was too fast. You don't get that in Deep Blue Sea. And I think that was
she doesn't give a fuck.
Not at all.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was the movie's biggest mistake because you can't connect with her.
She knew what she was doing was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
And she didn't care.
And I think that's why Susan here is so great.
I think Thomas Jane is the one that you're supposed to connect with in that.
We kind of like, we ended up getting to that point where it was just odd. There was a lot of main characters that you're like, who is this? Mm-hmm. Like, who do we want to root for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think they do such a good job in this movie with just one little line of dialogue. Just like, should we have done that? We don't really know. Boom.
Yeah.
Got it. Love you. You're great.
Well, there's this other element to Mira Sorvino's character because she wants to have kids.
Yeah.
That's a great point too.
And so like, she was like, all these kids are dying.
Yeah. She wants to
I'm going to do whatever again, because like kids are my bag, baby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Kids 100%. Are my bag, baby.
It's like a weird, like fucking Austin Powers thing that came out of nowhere. I was like, what?
Zach, you're always throwing in those Austin Power references.
We're in 1997 New York. Why did I go to like 70s?
Because this is a 1997. Austin Powers came out in 1997.
That's right.
That's why.
Well, there we go.
International Cockroach Man of Mystery.
Yeah.
International.
But yeah, she wants to have kids. And so there's like another like level of the
compassion
onion.
kind of for that area.
Yeah. And it's like what we're willing to sacrifice for the greater good. Yeah, it's funny. It's so interesting because it is technically like a selfish decision in a way to be like, I want kids, so I'm going to, do this thing that could have like crazy consequences. But it is like,
but she also is saving like hundreds and hundreds of children.
It's like for the greater good of humanity. And also there's nothing wrong with one. It's very complicated.
Right. Well, she also couldn't have known that was going to happen.
Exactly.
I mean,
that's.
But again, in Deep Blue Sea, Susan in Deep Blue Sea knew exactly what was happening.
Yeah, she was terrible.
Yeah.
But not Mira. Not our Romy.
No.
Not
our
Romy.
new Susan.
No. Susan phase 2 Susan. She gets the job done.
Yeah. But yeah, our first official reveal comes 3 years later when there is a reverend being chased by something. You see like shadows of it for a minute. And then he's so scared of it that he's like going to jump off the fucking roof. And he just fucking dies.
Yeah.
It's not funny.
It is funny.
I had such a satisfying experience with this. Specifically, not just this scene, but the next time we see Mr. Funny Shoes, I was watching it with Cody, and he was like, "Is that the same guy from the other scene?" I was like, "He thinks it's a guy. This is so great. He thinks it's a girl. He got him."
Well, that's why
it was like so satisfying.
I was trying to think.
That's awesome.
I was trying to think about the first time that I saw it, and I think that maybe I thought that it was a guy too, because they make it seem like they're after them because of this illegal immigration ring that they have going on.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so that's what they make it seem like, people are out to get them because of this illegal activities going on in this church.
Okay.
Clever.
So I think I might have thought it was a man too.
That's so fun.
The fedora.
But you're supposed to, which is great. It's like that. I think that just means like the writers did their job.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you know what? Now thinking about that, now I want to watch this with somebody who's never seen it.
It was literally, I had to control myself because I don't know why it like just tickled me so much. I was like, this is so fun.
Is that the guy? Yes. Is that the guy from the last scene? Yeah.
I was like,
it's totally the man
Same
from
guy,
the last scene. Yep.
I'm like literally just like convulsing in like happiness. He's like, what the fuck?
I love watching From Dusk Till Dawn with people who have no idea what it is.
I did that in college actually with my roommate, and he was on the fucking floor, and it was so fun.
See, I watched it with somebody who had never seen it when I was like 20 years old.
Yeah.
And they were like blown away. They were like, oh my God, this is crazy.
So
and then I watched it with Nina, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. And thinking she would have like that. I was like, she's so good at guessing where movies are going to go.
It's also so old.
And so I'm like, please don't get it. There's like things that they will like say. And I'm like, oh, this is going to give it away. This is going to give it away. And like, she didn't get it. But then when it did switch over, she was like, what the fuck? She's like, this is so stupid.
No.
She said, I was like getting really engaged in like this crime thriller thing. And then it switches to this. And I was like,
how dare you not appreciate this?
What?
In Nina's defense, it really is, because I watched that movie as a kid, so I just always remembered it as the vampire movie. But rewatching it when I was older, I was like, wow, that first half is a solid, like funny, lighthearted, but really dark crime thriller. And it is so engaging. So in her defense, like, it's a good story.
Lighthearted. She's like fucking rapes and murders a lady in the hotel room. And he's like, it's just like a fun movie.
Family fun.
I guess I mean, like, there is like dark humor.
Yes.
In it. Like,
yeah.
Oh yeah, I forget.
Yeah.
It really is so fucked up.
He's like this fucking mass murderer, like a legit psychopath who can't control himself. Like,
family.
Oh yeah, why? Oh my god, that fucked me up. There are so many movies I should not have watched as a kid.
I know.
That is on the top of the list.
Same.
Yeah.
Good lord.
Okay, so back to Mimic. Okay, so the Reverend basically kills himself, and then the Cockroach Man just takes his body and drags him into his little. He's trying to drag that body through the small opening, and he
I love it.
has to yank it through.
I love it.
Sometimes your rib cage just gets in the way, and you gotta.
Yeah, not an easy time.
But it's just so funny because like this thing is like evolved to be like super smart, whatever. But it's still just like animalistic. Like,
oh, of course,
it's a bug. It's like just like forcing its way. Like, there's no like. It's smart, but he's not like, okay, well, let me like turn him around so he gets in here. He's just like, get in here. But then we meet Chewie, who is across the street looking out the window, and he sees this happening, and he starts calling the Cockroach Man Mr. Funny Shoes, and that's where we get that. That's where we get the name. Our next reveal comes in the form of a cornflake box. When these two street kids come to Susan's office, they like deal in bugs. They like catch bugs and bring them to her, and she gives them money. Yeah. But they find this weird bug. They call it the weird bug, and they trapped it in like a cornflake box with like, they put like bedding in there. Like these street kids, they're like considerate, I guess.
Yeah.
Like we may as well accessorize. We have a business here.
Yeah. But they put it in there, and she starts like taking it out because it starts like wriggling around, like, and the box is shaking. They're like, what the fuck? So she takes it out with these fucking tweezers, and it's like this huge fucking cockroach. Oh my God.
It scared me. The jump scare got me.
Oh yeah. And then it like bites her.
Yeah. It kind of pissed me off as an entomologist. Like,
yeah, you kind of
are you not going to be smarter about like making sure it doesn't bite you?
Exactly.
It's like the Prometheus when they're like just like leaning into the obvious like toothy monster that's like hissing at it. It's like, what are you, little guy?
Yeah.
It's I come on. He's trying to, he bit you.
Wear a fucking glove.
Oh,
lady.
that I have not seen. I've not seen Prometheus, but I have seen Jon Stewart checking the prostate of a alien slug.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
What's up with people just like going fingers first into these like new species without any regard for their safety?
And ticks, the one chick with the fucking wall of pulsating tick things.
She's like gets right up there.
Wow.
She's like, let me take a little lick.
I'm from the city. I don't know what this stuff is.
All the more reason for her to be freaked out.
It's like that Simpsons gif of that kid saying, I'm in danger.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, the thing bites her, and then she just like slams it down on the table and sticks a pin in it. She's like trying to be like, so like, oh, what is this? And then it bites her and she's like, fuck you.
Fuck you. I don't even care.
I don't care. But because she stuck it with the pin, it starts like secreting all that stuff. And she's like, oh shit. I've seen this stuff before. This is what we made. And then she does the little pH.
Yeah.
She does the pH thing.
She does a little pH test, and then she puts them little strips down next to each other and says, oh my God, did the bug we made.
Did that Judas bug.
Hey, Peter, come over here. Hey, Peter, I got to show you something.
Peter, there's only two things with that DNA.
We made this bug.
There's only two things with that DNA. One of them is this ain't from the Amazon. The other one is that Judas bug.
Oh God. King of the hill, more like king of the
cock,
king
roach.
King cock.
Roach.
King cock of the Huh.
All right, so
yeah, that petered out.
Did you say that petered out?
Peter, what are you doing in here? Peter, get out of here. Yeah, but it's like a cool sequence because she sees that, and then like as she's studying it, we see the she's looking up like her old research, and while she's doing that, behind her, Mr. Funny Shoes is breaking into the lab to save, I guess. It's like it's baby.
That's our second monster reveal.
Yeah, it's all part
sequence.
of like, we counted this reveal as kind of like a whole unboxing of like the little bug.
It's all the same scene.
Getting it, but like he like hides up on the ceiling behind her. Oh my God. Danny, I kept thinking of you during this, like, and that story you told last week about the cockroach in your little foyer going into your apartment and it started flying around.
Ooh.
I remember didn't Danny have a story about a rubber glove and spiders?
What?
No?
What?
Did I make that up?
Are you dreaming about me in rubber gloves with spiders?
Never mind. Proceed.
No, I want to know this story about rubber gloves and spiders.
I don't know it. I just thought I remembered like a bunch of spiders and a rubber glove.
Ew. I'm freaked out now. Oh my God.
I'm confused now. I'm wondering if I don't remember. Am I losing my memory or?
I don't know. I might be making things up.
New memory?
Why did you have a bunch of spiders in a rubber glove?
No, I picture, I don't know why. I picture a hole in a wall with a bunch of spiders and Danny wearing a rubber glove.
Oh my God.
So I know what you're talking about. I had a spider in my room in college and I decked myself out in full like military garb to fight this spider.
And then what did you say? You got some tool?
I had
What was it? Like a roll of paper towels?
A roll of paper towels. Dude, what episode was that? That was like an old episode. Might have been Arachnophobia. Maybe.
No, I think it was before. No, I think it was before that. Yeah.
Oh man,
that's so funny.
Listeners, if you go back to one of our old episodes,
but I remember making the joke too about a gay man calling a roll of paper towels tools.
Tool. I opened my tool shed. Do you mean the cabinet under your sink?
Wow.
But yes. Oh, I'm glad we figured that out.
Yeah. Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was all one reveal, because then the thing takes the baby and just goes away, and she's left with nothing.
Well, Susan confronts Peter, her now husband, and is like, "Yo," like,
has a great line.
What does she say?
She says, "They were designed to die. They're breeding."
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
That was cool.
And that leads them to the subway, because that was where they had their little experiment.
Yeah. And so we're kind of like starting to get like this whole group of characters coming together in this one scene where they're not really working together yet or whatever, but like she meets Manny, she meets Chewie, they meet Leonard, the cop, all in this subway station. Mm-hmm. And there's this great scene where they're like looking for a sample or like a specimen of the bug. And they drop the flashlight behind this locker, and they're like reaching down to get it. And Mr. Funny Shoes is like right there. Okay. Here's a question. We keep calling it Mr. Funny Shoes.
I don't think it's all the same one.
It could be different ones.
Yeah, but they all have funny shoes.
That was Mr. Silly Gloves.
Yeah.
That's you, Danny.
You're Mr. Silly Gloves.
When I'm in my battle armor, I'm Mr. Silly Gloves.
Oh my God. Yeah. So like, it's one of those moments where like, they don't see what is so close to them, and it's just about to bite her hand when Leonard walks in. He's like, "What the fuck you guys doing?
Yep.
You broke the lock. You're not supposed to be in here." But they find the kids that brought them the specimen. And she's like, "Look around. If you see one of these big fucking egg sacs, let us know." Mm-hmm. So the kids go down and look for it, because they think they're going to get some money out of it. And they find it.
They sure do.
Oh, and he like pokes it, and like you hear like the scuttling around in there. It's so gross. But then there's a really cool scene, because the one kid turns the flashlight. He's like, "I think there's somebody down there." And one of the Mr. Funny Shoeses is eating a fucking dog.
Ugh.
And then just like drops it down. And it's like just fucking like half eaten and dead. But then it just fucking kills those fucking kids.
Yeah.
Shocking.
I love that it's the first kill in the movie too.
Well, Reverend.
Oh, I guess I forgot about the Reverend. Never mind.
But he just kind of killed himself.
Yeah, but it was the first time that we saw. But yeah, because we also didn't know what they were.
Yeah,
and that's
true.
part of why they had the guy kill himself, was so that we didn't know.
Yeah. Oh, good point.
Yeah. Brutal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised. It's funny, even watching this again, I'm like, am I misremembering this? Like, maybe they just get stunned because Susan kind of sets up essentially the ending of the movie, where like they stun them and bring them down to their little quote unquote pantry.
Oh,
but
yeah.
no, they eat shit.
Dead.
Yeah, so they just get demolished, those fucking kids. Mm-hmm. But Chewie now wants to like go on his own and find this creature, or this Mr. Funny Shoes. He doesn't really know it's a bug yet.
Spoiler alert.
He goes down there, and this is where we find out that there's multiple.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we know there's at least two. We don't know how many there are, but there's at least two at this point. So that's our number 4 reveal. Our third reveal was the kids finding the egg sac and getting killed. And then our 4th official reveal is Chewie meeting 2 Mr. Funny Shoeses.
And if you're a first time watcher, you're probably thinking Chewie will probably survive because he's been set up as a central character. But we did just see 2 kids get murdered. So
true.
That's right.
You would be forgiven in presuming that maybe he met a similar fate.
Right. Oh, and then playing into that, our next reveal is in the water treatment plant in New Jersey, where Norman Reedus and his fellow workers, Oh, is that his name? Jeremy?
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy Reedus.
Norman Jeremy Reedus.
He doesn't even look the same.
What's his name in fucking Walking Dead?
Daryl.
Norman Jeremy Daryl Reedus.
What's his name in Boondock Saints?
Boondock Saints.
Maybe it's just Saint Norman.
Saint Norman Jeremy Daryl Reedus. That's good.
Yeah. It's a strong Christian name, as they say.
Murphy.
Murphy. That's a name you don't hear very often. I just think of RoboCop.
I think of my friend's cat.
That was Brewster's name when we got him out of a kill shelter.
I love the name Murphy for a pet.
Murphy.
It was cute, but I was like, let's not have anything associated with this kill shelter. Let's give you something new. Brewster's actually named after Charlie Brewster from Fright Night.
Oh, fun.
And also a town in Massachusetts.
Dan, make up your fucking mind.
And also my last name with an ST.
And that character from Boondock Saints.
Murphy Brown.
Murphy McManus.
And Candace Bergman.
Okay, so Jeremy.
So he finds a giant lobster hiding in the water tank.
No, but we're just calling it a lobster.
So, they kind of fake you out and make you think that it's Chewie's body.
Exactly. And that's what I was kind of getting at, where it was like we cut from like, we don't know what happens to Chewie. And then we go to the water treatment plant and they like are digging something out because it was blocking the waterway. And the one guy's like, I think it's a kid.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh shit. And then they even cut again and go to another scene.
They got 8-legged kids over in Manhattan. That a thing?
Hey, you guys know anything about Manhattan? They got 8-legged kids.
How many legs them kids got? Is it 2?
How many legs them kids got?
Or they got more. They got like 8.
All right.
Hey, how many hot dogs you see them kids holding over there?
Kids scarfing down like at least a maximum 8 at a time.
You ever seen a kid eating more than 2 hot dogs at a time over there?
I think that's what we're dealing with here, Mark.
Is this
Murphy?
Is this from something?
Hey, Murph.
Home Alone.
No.
Murph.
What?
Home Alone, Murph.
Is it Marv?
Is it
Marv?
I thought it was Marv.
Marv. What the fuck ever? Same thing.
There's like instead of a tarantula crawling across his face in the fucking Home Alone, it's like one of these bugs.
What's happening?
And it starts like secreting.
What are you doing, Marv?
On his face.
Ew.
That's disgusting.
How did we get here?
That's one of Kevin McAllister's traps.
It's the Judas breed.
It's like he's got a bunch of these bugs and he squeezes them.
He's gonna wipe out the whole neighborhood. You like try to break in now, bitch. Just kills everyone.
Casey, you brought us here. You brought up Home Alone.
Yeah, now take us back.
No, you guys started yelling about hot dogs. How many hot dogs those kids eat over there? And I thought you guys that was from something, but you guys were just having a moment where you were talking about Long Island hot dogs. I don't know. Kids eating hot dogs, you fucking freaks.
8 armed kids eating hot dogs.
8 armed kids eating 8 hot dogs.
That's crazy.
Because they have 8 arms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't you fill all your arms with hot dogs when you can't?
Murph, ain't one of them hot dogs gonna get a little cold? Why don't you take one at a time?
And then it just goes.
It runs away.
What is
That's so stupid.
But it's got to use all of its legs to run, and so it's squishing its hot dogs as it runs away. Oh my god, I'm gonna. Oh god,
support his arms.
My heart's gonna seize up. Oh my god.
Oh, that's fun.
Kielbasa, bratwurst, ballpark franks, Wiener schnitzels, Italian sausage. Everything from wet floppy dogs to hard marble rods. This is Hot Dog Talk with the boys. Wow. Okay. So we found out that the kids in Manhattan have 8 legs and eat 8 hot dogs at the same time.
Well, that's what we think, but that's wrong because it's not an 8-legged kid. It's a cockroach.
Oh, it's a lobster. That's right. It's a giant lobster. So, okay. What is Norman Reedus' name in this? Jeremy?
Jeremy.
Oh, I thought it. Oh shit! I genuinely was like, Murphy,
not
right?
again. This is like the Temple of Doom when they fucking think they escape and then like the trap starts over again. And they're like, no. So Jeremy calls his friend. His friend is Remy. Susan's friend, Remy. That's Remy, right, Remy. Yeah. And they go over to this treatment plant and they see this thing, and he calls it a giant lobster, which I don't know what kind of lobsters they have in New Jersey, but it's like a Judas breed bug that's like not small, but it's not Mr. Funny Shoes size. It's kind of like
the size of a toddler.
Yeah. And so he's like, what the fuck? And then he says that Remy told him if it's got more than 4 legs, it's not a mammal. And so he's like, got to be a lobster.
Yeah.
Oh, I can see why.
So that was our 5th official reveal. Meanwhile, the team of Peter, his partner Josh, played by Josh Brolin, and
Daddy
Leonard, Daddy,
Josh Brolin,
Daddy Josh,
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 yes.
Daddy
Brolin.
Daddy. Oh, Daddy Brolin. Actually, Daddy Brolin was James.
Well, not anymore.
Amityville Horror.
Anyways, Josh Brolin, what?
Yeah, so Daddy Brolin and Leonard, they all go down into the subway to find these creatures, and Leonard does not want to be there. He's like, what the fuck?
And Manny, meanwhile, is doing the same thing, but he's looking for Chewie.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
Manny's
everyone is
looking for
kind
Chewie.
of like converging onto the Delancey Street station.
And Susan, who started this whole fucking thing, is nowhere to be found. she's like
figure it out.
She's like sitting on a bench up in the station, just like
eating a hot dog.
Eating a hot dog. But we did find out throughout this that she is pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Before they go down into the sewers or the subway station, she takes a test and thinks it's negative because nothing happens, and then she throws it away. And then we get kind of like an unnecessary shot of like the camera like going back into the bathroom and like tilting down and like going through the garbage bag and seeing like it just seemed like there'd be an easier way to do that.
But later when he said the test was positive, you didn't wait long enough.
Yeah. But while Susan is sitting on the bench in the subway station, eating 2 hot dogs. That's right.
She with her other hand,
she has 2 arms, looking 2 hot photos. And she's looking through photos that they took of this bug.
I'm just imagining her like looking at the photos, and then like another arm enters the frame with a hot dog, just feeding her.
Oh my God. So she's looking at the pictures and she kind of like puts some of them together and like folds it over and realizes that it makes a face. And then she's like, oh shit. They've evolved to like mimic us, like their prey.
I love that part.
Very cool reveal. And this is actually our 6th official reveal. She's in the subway. She sees the faces and then she's like, everybody's kind of gone. Because they make an announcement that the station is closing. So she like gets up and she like asks this dude what the time is, but she just sees like his shadow. Then it turns out it's not a dude. It's a big fucking bug. It's Mr.
Dick
Funny
Roach.
Shoes. Yep. It's Dick Roach and Detective Roach.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool because then it just like fucking, that's the first time we see it open. It's a whole thing like in a good full like view. Lighting, like full view. Yeah.
There's no more hiding it. This is
right.
In fact, a monster movie.
Yep. And it chases her down the subway station, and then just like you kind of think she's gonna get away, and then it just swoops and takes her down. You're like, oh well.
The first time I saw it, I thought it was a dream sequence.
Oh, okay.
That's interesting.
Just because it was like just a really weird thing how everybody was just gone. I know they made the announcement and everything, but everybody was just gone. And then she's asking this man in a trench coat what time it is. I don't know. It's very...
Yeah, Angie's the main character, so you're just your expectations are.
Yeah.
Now, I just want to catch myself. I did call it a monster. We've talked a lot about Guillermo del Toro in the past and about the types of stories he tells and how I would argue he does not view this giant creature a monster, but maybe really like the victim in this story because they did nothing wrong. They, even after this whole like transformation, they still are just like it's normal behavior for them.
Right. They're just adapting and surviving and
And they are in their, they even say like they set up like they're not going to attack unless you like fuck with their territory. They are in cockroaches in New York subway stations. That's the norm. Yeah. So, I just wanted to clarify that this is a Guillermo del Toro movie. The monsters maybe aren't the monsters as we might assume. Yeah.
So she gets carried away. Then we're back down in the subway station and we get our next honorable mention where Leonard sees one of these Judas breed bugs, just like kind of like a small one. I mean, it's still big, but it's a small one. And he freaks out because it's bigger than it should be and smashes it. And then Peter's like, what the fuck are you doing? That's what we're looking for. Why did you kill it?
He literally has no idea.
Right.
What is to come.
But they're like on this like platform and the platform like tips over. And then Josh, Daddy Brolin, is up on the top and he's like, how am I going to get you guys back up here? They're like, just go back up and get like my commanding officer or whatever.
Your death scene is right down the hall. You need to go there.
You go left, right, 2 rights, and then a left, and then that's where you're going to die.
I know. I tried to write it down on his hand. What a sweet boy.
But he was just like, I thought it was funny because he's like a grown man, right? And he's just like, please, Peter, can I stay down here with you? Like, just help you get up, please. He's like, fine, okay, I'm going.
Grown men are allowed to be scared.
Oh, totally. Yeah. It's so funny because like I didn't expect it. Yeah. And that brings us to our Josh Daddy Brolin is actually our 7th official reveal.
He goes from Daddy Brolin to Daddy Brolin.
To Daddy Brolin. Yeah. I really wanted him to like get out. You know what I mean? Because he's like, he makes his way up and then you think he's going to get up, but then the thing slips and it causes the bug to react.
Puts him right in his fucking like calves. Just, right through him.
Right through.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess nowadays it'd be more surprising if Josh Brolin were to die in that scene, but I guess he was in that little like period in the 90s where he's kind of coming off. It wasn't quite the young Goonies brother that we knew him as, but he didn't quite come back strong like with his No Country.
Right. But Susan now wakes up somewhere that the bug just kind of left her. I don't know why the bug didn't eat her.
But remember they established that earlier. Remember when she's talking to the kid and she's showing the colony and behind the glass surface. And she says what they do is they stun them. They bring them down to this place that she refers to as like the pantry. So they save them for later. Okay. If they're maybe not hungry or whatever. And they store them. So she was just being stored.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Because I was wondering why he killed those kids earlier.
They were already down there. He was eating the dog. He dropped the dog and started eating the kids.
Maybe that's why they had him eating the dog to establish that he was like hungry. Like in mid-feast. But like, that's better.
He was protecting the eggs.
True.
Maybe that's what it was.
Maybe that was it too. I don't know.
Maybe both.
I mean, you can be hungry and protect eggs at the same time.
Yeah.
But Susan has this like moment. There's like this moment where she like is getting away, but she's like super scared. Like I love her performance in this where she's like fucking terrified, but she's like, I know I have to keep going, but I'm so scared. And I think, is this where she's like stabs one?
Yeah.
With that like pipe she has?
Yeah.
Which she pulls out of a corpse.
That's right.
So fun.
Oh yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. But at this point, Manny has met up with Peter and Leonard and they hear Susan and they like go to save her. And this is where Peter, Manny, and Leonard both see all three of them see the Judas breed bug for the first time.
Yes.
And it's coming at them and they're freaking out. And Leonard's like, what the fuck is that? And oh my God. And they run into this train, this abandoned subway train.
And this is officially our 8th monster reveal.
Correct. And it's a really cool scene because like the bug gets cut in half and then like its head is still like, or it's like top half of its body, its torso is like still alive in the train. Yep. And Leonard's freaking out and he's shooting it. But then again, he like, just like in every horror movie, like they assume it's dead and then it comes alive and
always take more shots. You're right in front of it.
I love this scene because I love the way they explain what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
In the way that like cockroaches evolve.
Mm-hmm.
And they talk about how like they evolved to mimic their predator.
Oh yeah.
The predator is us.
Mm-hmm.
But I like how she says, because it is kind of like, okay, we're kind of like in silly horror movie explanation time, like where we have to just accept it. But she says, she's like, don't think of it in years, think of it in generations. So because it was sped up, it makes sense. And then she says like, what, there were like 44 generations between man evolving from ape to where we are now.
Mm-hmm.
So that process being sped up like makes so much more sense of like, oh, because there's that great scene where she's like, they're like,
I think she said 40,000.
40,000?
I think so.
Oh, I guess that makes more sense.
44 generations is pretty quick.
Not that long, yeah.
You know, one of my great grandfathers was the inspiration for Mighty Joe Young.
My great grandfather Murphy, Papa Murphy.
You know, King Kong,
yeah.
But I forgot to mention that they set it up when they are essentially digging through the corpse and they find out that it has lungs, which is so disturbing, and I love that so much. But I don't know. I love how they rationalize it in this movie, which I'm sure is owed. You know, it owes a lot to the was it a short story?
Yeah,
that this was inspired by. Yeah,
which it was very cool when they found out they had lungs, and they're like, "Oh my god, they're changing." But then they're like, she's like, basically says everybody knows that insects don't have lungs. I was like, I didn't know that.
I was like,
come on,
I don't know. I never thought about it, but like I don't think I knew that.
How do they breathe?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't get it. 44 generations.
How long was 44 generations ago? The length of time that has passed since 44 generations ago depends on the average length of a generation, which can vary based on gender and society in human populations. The average time between generations is usually between 20 to 30 years.
Oh, that's it?
That's it?
I guess it makes sense because you have kids when you're 20 to 30 years old.
Yeah.
I was thinking about how long a lifespan was. So I was thinking like 70 or 80 years.
Me too.
So if you do, let's see, 30 times 44 equals 1,320 years ago.
When we were monkeys.
Yeah.
So that's the year 704. So we weren't monkeys.
Maybe it is 44.
Was Jesus a monkey?
I mean, maybe. I mean, that gives
Jesus
me like a
wasn't
different.
real. So yeah.
No,
when you read the Bible, it starts to make a little more sense.
I'm pretty sure Jesus was a real guy.
No, I don't think so.
I think Jesus was a real guy. I think the whole God, all that stuff is not real, but I think Jesus himself was a real man.
He was just a cult leader.
I always thought that was the case, that he was just like this dude that was written about, and then they kind of, you know,
I think it was just made up.
Made him godlike.
I mean, I don't believe
Hail Satan.
Hail Satan.
Yeah, she's wearing her shirt.
Well, I'm saying I don't believe in all the stuff that the Bible says about all the magical properties and stuff. But
Zach, why are you trying to shove the Bible like
down
show
the fuck out, dude?
Can we just talk about horror movies, please, without you going on this like?
God, Jesus. I'm not interested. Been there, done that.
Got the fucking Crusades over here. I'm just trying to watch a movie.
Judas.
Yeah, God. The second they mentioned Judas, I was like, here we go.
There we go. Zach's gonna fucking talk about the Bible again. Fucking loves that Jesus guy.
Generations, big fight.
Yeah. So
that's when they cover themselves in they get the scent glands.
Yeah, that was fucking gross.
I loved that.
Glands.
And like that little gross. Like those like sacks that she like pulls out. She's just like tossing them to everybody. Like, here, use this.
I loved it.
Squirt a little bit of this on your neck.
Like,
squirt a little bit of this. She's just throwing it all over this man's fucking open wound.
Yeah, he even says, like, I don't think this is sanitary. And she's like, don't fucking worry about it.
You're going to die anyway.
Your blood's going to kill us because...
I read the script. You're not going to make it. Just help me out here.
So Manny and Peter go out on their own to get certain things done. Peter's supposed to rewire the wires.
Rewire the wires?
Manny's supposed to flip a switch and everything's going to be hunky-dory, but Manny gets killed by the first... this is our 9th official reveal when we see the King Judas, the male. I guess it's like the only male, or like the king.
Yeah, there's one male. He doesn't fly, and there's something else about him. He's the only one who can... Well, he's the only male, so he's the only one who can fertilize.
Make the babies?
Yeah. Make the babies?
Make the babies?
And that's when Chewie, even, because he witnesses when Manny is coming to save him, and he doesn't realize that the king is behind him, and Chewie is like, friend, because up to this point, he doesn't think that these creatures are,
right. That's so
him.
sad.
I know. And then he has the moment.
And
I do love that sequence though, where, because they've set up earlier how Chewie does this thing with spoons to kind of like mimic the sound of cockroaches. So when Manny's looking for him, even we don't know, we're like, is that Chewie or is Manny walking into a trap? And I guess he kind of does the same. He does both. He walks into Chewie, but I don't think we even realized if it was Chewie doing the spoon thing or if it was the king kind of like calling him.
Well, it's kind of interesting now that you say that. Like, it made me think about this. Like, a lot of people think that like autism and stuff is kind of like the next step in evolution. And so like that's kind of cool that like the bugs evolved to like mimic us. And then,
that's a great point.
He's got autism and of some degree, and he's like mimicking with the spoons, and
that's cool. Really interesting. Yeah, and to that point, like, was the king mimicking Chewie, who was mimicking him to get Manny to come? Like, are they all kind of like...
It's like the Spider-Man meme. And then Peter, so Leonard also gets killed because he kind of like, he sees them like being attacked in this room.
I love that part when they're all just standing out there scratching on the windows.
Yeah, that's pretty
spooky.
Cool. And then Leonard sees him like being attacked, so he's like, okay, I think I'm gonna die anyways. I'm getting a little woozy over here. And so he goes down and he's like, says that he sings when he's nervous, and so he goes down the track and starts singing, and they attack him and get him.
What if he was like singing like Macarena? It's like that was like his go-to song was like Mambo No. 5 or Macarena or like something like
hey Macarena. And they're like,
girl, you're working with some ass, yeah. You're bad, yeah.
Hey Macarena.
I think he should sing Back That Ass Up by Juvenile.
Yeah.
Girl, you look good. He's like nervous, like,
back that ass
up.
Up.
Good when you back that ass up. You're a real fine woman when you back that ass up.
Oh, who is you playing with?
You look good when you back that ass up.
Then it turns into fucking like Joe's apartment, and all the roaches just start dancing.
Aww, I love that movie.
They all start twerking, all the cockroaches. So stupid.
Secreting all their fucking ooze everywhere.
They just like get foamy ass as they're twerking.
Ew.
And he dies anyways because he gets covered in the stuff and he fucking drowns. Anyways, but then Peter, Manny, and no, I'm sorry, not Manny. Peter, Susan, and Chewie are the only ones left, and they found like this like dumbwaiter to like go up it's like this old little elevator, and so they do that, but then Peter sees the king, which is our 10th reveal, and he's like, fuck, if we don't stop it here, we're not going to stop it. So he sends Susan and Chewie up the thing, and they're like, what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I'm saving you guys. But he finds his way into the nest.
Yeah.
Which is fucking, that's a cool shot.
It's so gross.
He gets away, and he thinks that he like crawls through that tunnel where he wired the stuff, I think. And then like he closes the grate and he's like, oh, I'm good. They're over there. I have a second to breathe. And he looks up and there's fucking
everywhere,
hundreds and maybe thousands of these things hanging upside down in the
I don't
thing.
like it.
Oh, it's so gross.
I don't like it.
But essentially he saves the day. He blows up the whole fucking thing. He's got his lighter and the gas line and blows up everything. And
I like the fake out in that sequence where the lighter doesn't work.
Yes.
And then he opens the grate and it kind of like suggests that maybe he's going to try to reach for it stupidly or just try to escape.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, what are you doing, buddy? It's a lost cause. And then he starts clanking it. And
I thought it was going to be an ad for Zippo
cool.
about how they're waterproof.
They're waterproof. But then Susan survives with Chewie. But also what survived is the king fucking...
Damn it.
Fucking Detective Roach, that the whole reason he stayed down there was to kill that thing. And it survived. So that brings us to our 11th and final reveal, where Susan meets the King Roach in the subway and has a little scuffle with it, but sees the train coming and does like a fucking Tom Cruise Mission Impossible.
Get off it.
I can't. It's so good. And she zips out of the way and the fucking bug gets smashed like a...
This is so stupid, but...
Yeah, it was stupid.
No, I love that scene. No, I was just going to say, I wish there was like one line of dialogue where like maybe this is too obvious, but where she would be like, oh yeah, like maybe this is why she connects with those two kids who deliver the bugs. Like maybe she's like, oh yeah, when I was a kid, we used to like hang out in the subways and we would like dodge trains or something. And like, so she knows how to do it. And then at the end, you can like bring it back to that. And you're like, I don't know. It could be something.
What would the one-liner that she says be like right before it gets smashed?
See, I was thinking it would be something about like stepping on a cockroach or
she can be like, subway to go.
What?
Instead of way to go, be like subway to go.
Oh, I was thinking about like the restaurant you're taking it to go.
I want subway to go. Yeah. Me too. I was thinking like, oh man, that would be good for fucking lunch. Like I haven't had Subway in a long time.
It's something about like something about missing your next stop or something like that. Maybe like he didn't have, or what's the movie? Like
stop,
no ticket.
Cocktown.
No ticket. Yeah.
No, Indiana Jones. I was like, where am I getting that from?
Yeah. What did you say, Casey?
Next stop, Cocktown.
What is Cocktown?
Well, I mean, it would be Cockroach Town. I just am a pervert, so I just said cock.
We always like talk about like we shit on the fact that there was like studio meddling in this movie, but we find out that it was like all in like
probably for the
to
best
benefit the movie. Guillermo del Toro had a line. It was like next stop, Cocktown, and they're like, Guillermo, we have to cut this line. It's so stupid.
No, next stop, Cockroach Lane. And then it hits the cockroach.
What if we just cut that entirely? He's like, damn, studio interference.
Oh God.
But yeah, that's no ticket. I think is the way to go.
Ticket. Okay, there we go. But that's Mimic.
That's Mimic. That's
and
it.
And she gets up to the top, and we find out that. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Mimic is not over yet.
You have a conspiracy theory. I've been waiting for it this whole time.
They get up to the top and she's there with Chewie and they're like got the blankets on like they always do in the fucking movies. And F. Murray Abraham comes over and he's like, sorry, like there's no way that anyone survived that down there. She's like, I'm sorry. And they go about their business. But then there's like this, which I think is a little bit too long of like them looking down the subway stairs and like
a lot of intercutting,
a lot of confusion about like who's where. It's like lots of cutting. And I'm like, okay, we get it. But then you see Peter coming up and it's like, oh my God, you survived. We're going to have a baby, whatever. And then you get this shot of F. Murray Abraham like looking over and being like, wow, cool. Good for them.
Wow, cool.
Okay. It is time for the How I Met Your Monster conspiracy theory of the week.
Hit it!
You're telling me that that NASA is going to kill the President of the United States with an earthquake.
Not exactly the kind of thing a Secret Service agent can, like, just throw himself on top of.
The whole Vietnam War was fought over a bet. Howard Hughes lost to Aristotle Onassis.
So third issue this year, conspiracy theory.
Okay, I think that F. Murray Abraham's character, which I should know his name.
Murphy.
No, it's Dr. Gates.
Dr. Gates? Okay. Mm-hmm. I think that Dr. Gates orchestrated this whole thing. Okay.
Oh my.
So
God.
During the press conference at the very beginning of the movie where she's like, we did this bug thing. And he's like, you see him in the audience and he's like, he like storms out. He's like, fuck. Right. I think he gets pissed off because he knows that like Peter and Susan are like a thing now. She released the bug and he's like, and then like, they're like, we couldn't have done it without this lady. And then he like sees a spark in them and he's like, fuck. Susan is mine, right? He's like, she's supposed to be with me. So he gets all pissed and he goes into like this super villain thing. He goes down, genetically alters the bugs even more because they would have been fine. Like they would have died when she said they were going to die and everything would have been good. But he goes down and he alters them again, right? So he gets, so he manipulates them to evolve and then so he can get rid of Peter. And then
of course.
After all this thing, like they go
because
down.
that would be the easiest way to do it.
Yes. And so he's finally getting rid of Peter. And then at the end, he's like, I'm sorry, nothing could have survived. And she's like, even humans? And he's like, nothing.
Yeah. And he was hoping that she would be like, oh no.
And then he sees Peter coming back up and he looks over and he's like, God damn it. But then he's kind of like, it's kind of like when the supervillain has like a moment of being like, okay, love prevailed, like, oh, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
No, now he's got to start over.
So yeah, I think this was all his doing.
Okay.
Damn. I think you're right.
Yeah? Any takers?
I mean, he's so good at playing the villain.
Uh-huh.
What
if
in
this movie for like 30 seconds?
You go even deeper. What if he's playing the character Salieri or whatever from Amadeus?
Okay.
And what if when his music career didn't take off, he invested in science and was able to preserve himself?
Oh shit! So that's how he knows.
He's just cockroaches. He's like
he's
black,
a bag.
so
he's like a meat sack full of a skin sack full of cockroaches.
And he keeps running into people who are like outperforming him. In this case, it's Susan. So maybe that adds more to it.
Yes. Yep. He's jealous. He's just jealous all around.
What if the movie ended with no setup where he just like looks at the camera and like hisses and then it cuts to black?
Hisses?
His skin suit just like drops and like sags and like all the cockroaches just like go everywhere.
We're like, whoa, what a twist.
And then he fucking decides to leave the science world behind and go study ghosts.
Oh no.
and then like we pick back up with him later in 13 Ghosts at the beginning. Oh my God.
Samuel L. Jackson from Deep Blue Sea comes in. He's like, I want to talk to you about the 13 Ghosts Initiative. And then it cuts to black. It's like the end credit scene.
Here, let me open my riddle book. Yeah. Okay, so that is my conspiracy theory. That is
Perfect.
The end of Mimic. And it is now time to decide what our favorite reveal is in Mimic.
What's going on here?
I don't see anything anywhere.
That's how they get you. They're under the goddamn ground.
Okay, so speed round recap of our official reveals in Mimic. Mm-hmm. Number 1, the Reverend gets killed at the beginning.
Yes.
Number 2, the weird bug unboxing sequence in the lab. Number 3, the kids find the egg sack and get sacked. Number 4, Chewie meets 2 Mr. Funny Shoeses. I love saying shoeses because I know it's wrong. 5 is Saint Norman, Jeremy, Daryl, Reedus.
Saint?
Yeah. Murphy. Wait, Murphy?
Yes.
Saint Daryl.
His name wasn't
Murphy.
Saint in the Boondock Saints.
No. Well, no, it's not, but okay. Saint Murphy, Norman Reedus finds the giant lobster in
Norman, Jeremy, Daryl, Murphy, Reedus.
Okay, he finds the 8-legged hot dog kid in the water treatment plant. 6 is Susan seeing the face in the
hot dog kid.
So stupid, you guys.
Oh god. Number 6 is Susan seeing the face in the photos and then getting attacked by Mr. Funny Shoes. 7 is 7 is Josh Daddy Brolin finding the egg sack and then getting eaten. Number 8 is Peter, Manny, and Leonard saving Susan and then seeing the Judas breed bug for the first time and running into the train. 9 is King Judas killing Manny. 10 is Peter meets King Judas. And then 11 is Susan meets King Judas and sends him to go get Subway takeout. So what is your favorite reveal in Mimic? If it's not the 8-legged hot dog boy, I don't know.
I love all of them. I'm going to go with the 8-legged hot dog kid. I think because I didn't expect it to like have such an impact on me.
You didn't expect it to have so many hot dogs?
In all seriousness, though, it is a very disturbing scene. Because the setup is you think you're about to see a dead kid.
Mm-hmm.
In this, just like popping up in the water. Then it turns out to be this thing that someone thinks is a giant lobster. And then it becomes what we realize is a giant cockroach, but it kind of looks like an animal. It's really disturbing. Yeah. So all jokes aside, I'm actually going to go with that one.
Oh,
okay.
Mine is when the 2 bug dealers die.
The 2 bug dealers, drug dealers, and bug dealers.
Yeah,
that is good. Okay, yeah, that was a surprising moment because you don't think kids right off the bat are just gonna get demolished by a giant bug.
Yep.
I'm gonna go with Susan putting the pictures together and seeing the faces,
that's a
and then
close second for me.
That very cool him standing there with his wings all around and then finally just opening up in daylight, or not daylight but in clear view of where you see it all, and then just flies and takes her off.
Yeah, I'm gonna put hot dog kid as my second pick. That's my runner up because my favorite scene is that Subway sequence. Okay.
Yeah. Hot dogs always take a back seat to Subway.
To Polaroids.
To Polaroids. Well, now it's time for a segment that we like to call The Real Monster.
Run, run, run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man.
You're a monster.
I'm not the monster here. You are. You and the rest of that fairy tale trash poisoning my perfect world. Now tell me, where are the others?
Eat me.
My real monster is, and Danny, I know that you agree with me already, is there the bath scene when they take a bath. First of all, the water was way too high in the bath. And second, they're wearing their clothing.
Yeah.
So that's all. I don't think it needs an explanation.
I literally wrote the way they destroyed that bathroom and their clothes in the tub.
Yeah. What the fuck, people?
That's my only real monster.
It's not cute. They were trying to be all cute and romantic about it. No. You fucking flooded the bathroom.
This is disgusting.
You guys have no event. You guys wouldn't do that?
Shut up. You got upset that somebody took a bite of an apple and put it on the fucking counter, Zach.
Yeah. I'm not eating the bathtub water. I have nothing to do.
Oh, I should clarify. I only thought it's a real monster because I planned on eating it.
Yeah, I planned on eating the bathtub water.
I don't know. They do it in Lethal Weapon as well. She doesn't.
Well, I don't like it because, Zach, I highly doubt you, if you got into a bathtub full of water, fully clothed, I doubt you would be like, yeah, this is nice.
I didn't say it was nice. I would probably.
I just feel like heavy.
You would hate it.
I would get a giggle out of it. I'm going to go do it right now.
You would do it and let me know how much you hate it.
Are you okay?
I will. I'm going to sit in the bathtub fully clothed today and take a picture and send it to you.
Yeah, it's depression.
You would absolutely hate it.
Yeah.
I won't even go to a beach with my clothes on anymore.
Yeah,
so I'm definitely not going to go into a bathtub.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Who's next?
Danny?
Zach? No, I just agreed with Casey.
Oh,
that's all you had? I'm sorry.
That's literally all I have written down.
Oh, man. Okay. I've got a couple.
pressure,
I've got shit on the walls.
Oh, yeah.
You never want shit on your walls or dripping from your ceiling.
Was that actually shit?
I don't know what it was.
So that must be
cockroach stuff.
I guess cockroaches poop up.
They poop up? I don't know.
Opposed to pooping down?
Yeah. I
poop
poop
up?
down.
I poop down.
I'm a downward pooper.
It's usually, well, they hang from the ceiling, don't they? Weren't they like hanging? I don't know if it was poop or not, but they thought it was shit and it was gross.
But you still like gravity's working against you. Like, what are their poops doing? This is some powerful poops.
We were thinking about this the other day, actually thinking about this. How, do bats poop when they're hanging upside down?
Maybe they like roll down and like hit them in the face. Like,
it's like wakes them up.
Well, maybe like maybe it's like
it shoots out.
Like they shoot it out and it hits the ceiling.
Yeah.
Oh, they just turn up. Like they turn right side up real quick.
Like,
I looked.
Hey, what are you doing up? What are you doing up so late? I'm taking a shit.
I just looked it up. They just roll over real quick and do their business and then turn back over. Yeah.
Oh,
that's hilarious.
Okay. Interesting.
That's such a funny visual.
But speaking of me always talking about the Bible, which I don't,
because you love it.
Here we go again.
God is my real monster of.
Oh my God! What a twist!
Mimic. Yeah, what a
you went
twist.
through a real spiritual journey in this movie.
God is my real monster for killing all those fucking kids at the beginning. You know,
God, he's a bastard.
You talk, all these people who are like, well, God does stuff for a reason, whatever, and it's like, well, then
I know,
more so than just this movie, but like the people in real life who think that God, exists, but also
that shit is wild.
They're like, yeah, he's got a reason for everything. You're like killing all these fucking kids, like genocide, all this, like, fuck you.
Have you ever seen that Stephen Fry interview where they're talking about God and he mentions the guy's like trying to he's like an atheist and he's talking to someone who is not, and the guy's trying to like ask him, he's like, you don't believe in, like, how do you, like, he's basically just trying to be like pro God, and Stephen Fry just kind of comes with him and he's like, bone cancer in children, what's that all about? He's like, tell me, like, what's that all about? He's just letting that happen. He's like, what? He's like, what maniac would allow that?
Sure.
Absolutely.
I don't know. It's just wherever you stand on it. I've already said, like, I'm more on the agnostic end of things, the unknown. But I was like, fair point, Stephen. Fair point.
Right.
And that's been God Talk with the boys.
I'd rather talk about hot dogs.
This is a good segue into our last and newest segment. Would you survive giant Mr. Funny Shoes cockroaches in Mimic?
And here we go.
No.
I don't think so. Because I hate fucking bugs, and I would probably just curl up in a ball and try to.
I would freeze.
Hope that they
I
would
think I've got this
go
one.
past me.
You think you got it?
Yeah. I don't mind cockroaches.
Casey, I want to hear your evacuation plans.
Well, I don't know, because it depends, with this whole thing. It depends what scenario I'm in. I have no shame. I would cover myself immediately in their disgusting bullshit if I had to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like bugs. Now, if they were 6 feet tall, I probably wouldn't like them as much. But
you only like bugs that wear fedoras.
Yeah, I was going to say the trench coat and the fedora would probably help out a little bit. So
she's like, just stay in the shadow, actually.
I like investigating, so I could, go along on some sort of detective work or private investigation work with the detective.
Okay.
Cockroach.
Okay. Maybe you can save me and Danny.
I've faced off against cockroaches in the past, and it's never gone. It's never gone in my favor.
Yeah. Okay.
I remember, Danny, one time you and me met you were living in Brooklyn, and we met and we were like having lunch or something. And I remember there was a cockroach, whatever restaurant we were in, crawling down the wall, like, of the place. And it was like, I think it was behind me. Like it was like, we were like in the middle of the restaurant and this was like against the wall. So like, it wasn't in my danger zone, but like, it was like crawling down the wall. And like, I kept like having to look over my shoulder to make sure that it was still there because I didn't want to lose sight of it. I was like, nope. But okay.
Awful.
That's Mimic. That's Guillermo del Toro's.
Wait, Zach, did you say you would survive? Or no, you wouldn't. You would go into a ball. That's right.
I would crawl up into a ball. I'd be like a little roly-poly. Be like, fuck you, baby.
Maybe we're the reason Casey survives because we die first. So the cockroach comes after one of us, then the next one. And by that point, Casey's out.
What are you trying to say? That I just am not able to defend myself and that you two are the reason that I'm not?
She needs two.
No, it's that you carry us around as bait.
To kill themselves in order to survive.
Yeah.
You're just friends with us in the event we run into giant cockroaches. You're like,
that's it.
Finally.
We're not even in the same state.
Well,
we're in the same state of mind.
Yes. Okay, guys, that's Mimic. That is our second feature in our Bugging Out triple feature series. Danny, what is our third movie coming
We are
up?
watching Dario Argento's Phenomena.
Phenomenon.
Not to be confused with
John
Travolta's Phenomenon.
Yeah, Phenomenon.
Do you remember, though, when we were talking about this and I didn't realize that?
Yeah.
And I legitimately said, wait.
Wait,
that movie has bugs?
Do you think John Travolta's a bug?
Also known as creepers in the U.S., I believe.
Okay.
What do people, like, I know they have the title change, but do people typically still just refer to it as Phenomena?
I think so.
Okay.
I think that's probably like the most known name.
Okay.
Actually, like in the video store when I was a kid growing up, it was Creepers.
It was Creepers.
Uh-huh.
Interesting.
I remember that. So I don't know.
Well, I like Phenomena better.
As we do some more research on it and learn more about it when we watch the movie, we'll probably have more
I'm very
to say.
excited. It'll be a first watch for me. I still have yet to watch it.
Okay.
For me too.
I know it's Jennifer Connelly, Donald Pleasance. Like, that's what a.
And it was, I think it was before Labyrinth for her.
Oh, fun.
I think.
So this must have been one of her first roles, if not her first.
Yeah. I'm going to consider it a first watch for me. I know I saw it as a kid, but I have no recollection of it at all.
Okay. Good.
So,
in Casey, have you seen it?
No.
All right. Well, that is exciting. I'm looking forward to that. Until then, make sure to follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, at How I Met Your Monster. Send us emails at howimetyourmonsterpodcast@gmail.com. Where can our listeners find you guys on social media?
I am on Instagram at WolfMotherCasey.
Nice. Danny?
And I am on various social media platforms by my name, Danny Salem. That's DANNYSALEMME. 2 M's, like the candy. Melt in your butt, not in your hands.
Nice. Wonderful. And you can find me on social media at Zach Winsick. Make sure to join us for Phenomena to round out our Bugging Out triple feature. And until then, thank you all for listening. Now go meet some monsters.